Hello everyone, and welcome to Remains to be Seen, the D&D show where one group's past could determine the other group's future. I am your host, Rover Elliott, and today I am here with...
Hi, I'm Annie Ruby. My pronouns are she, her.
I am Elizabeth Simpson. My pronouns are she, her.
I'm Jo Mendacium. My pronouns are he, they, she.
Hi, it's Mirah G, and I'm she, her.
Hello everyone, I'm so excited. This is the first episode of our podcast, so that's going to be really fun.
Yay!
I mean, first recording, yeah.
First recording. So this is a Dungeons & Dragons podcast. We are using the 2024 edition. Can someone explain to the people who don't really know what D&D is, what it is, basically?
Shall I?
Go for it.
Okay. So the general gist of D&D is you meet up with your friends online or in person and imagine going on an adventure for hours, usually. Someone is going to lead the adventure. That's called the Dungeon Master or Game Master, short DM or GM. And you usually roll dice to determine how your adventure goes, if you win a fight or not. The most used die in D&D is a D20, a 20-sided die, and then depending on what your character's class is, you might use more or less dice than just the D20. Yeah.
Yeah. And for example, for things like opening a door in a stealthy way, you roll that dice, and then you don't want to, roll a 1, because you will take door damage. And if you roll a nat 20, that door opens for you without a sound. Basically that. It's really easy if you look at it that way, and then you look at your character sheet and you're like, what is going on? That's fine on the first time. I mean, we have in our show, we'll have people that have played D&D before, that have not played D&D before, or not a lot. So we are very much still walking through everything and making sure that everyone still understands it. And also for our listeners, to make sure that our listeners understand it. So I'm already saying, if there's any questions for that, don't worry, we'll get through that. So for that, let's kind of see where our story starts, where the campaign starts. So our story starts in the year 19-something. We aren't really putting a date to that. In Europe, that is in some ways very similar to the one that you're used to, and in other ways, not so much. These lands are steeped in magic, and where 35 years ago was still the Netherlands, today our gaze wanders over a vast swamp. The cause of the flood is to this day a subject of heated debates among scholars, but one fact remains. The flood is not over yet, and it's slowly but surely making its way through Belgium. While magic has been a steady thing in this world, parts of it are still relatively unknown and undergoing experimental use. This is including necromancy. Unfortunately, that research was based in the Netherlands, and thus the part of necromancy where you can revive someone has been lost with the flooded country. So in this world, that magic no longer exists. We do not use any revive magic, so things in this world is like revivify, raise dead, resurrection. That does not exist. Will that ever change with whatever people find in the show? I don't know. That remains to be seen. Now, as we zoom in a bit more, we start in the heart of the UK, London. The date is the 21st of October. It's mid-afternoon with the sun set high in the sky, and we see a diverse population getting ready for Willoween on the 31st. A group of the illusionist guilds are using their magic to give children illusionary wings. Bakeries are selling their famous willow pies and getting ready to compete in their own baker's competition. As we look upon the streets to see carriages trailing through the city and the rich flashing off their magical cars, new and still declared as too dangerous for the big public, but, the rich still want to show off. Along the streets are lanterns with hiring notices for a new team of protectors of sorts for the government, and here and there are the missing persons posters. When we pass along people next to the newspaper stands, we can hear them talk about the recent disappearances that have been displayed in the papers and on the radios. Some do not really understand why the House of Six, the 6 European leaders who take the drastic measures for the continent, are so very adamant on focusing on just a couple disappearances, while others seem nervous about the connections between important architects and prisoners going missing around the same time. A newspaper with the headline "Crown Smith among the disappearances causes uproar in country" drops on the pavement as we continue our focus to a half-elf in between the crowds, looking at the stairs leading down into the London Underground, the old metro station now turned into the home base of the recently legalized bounty hunter facility. Lizzie, Elizabeth, can you describe your character for us?
Of course. Corwin is relatively tall. She's about 6 foot or 182 centimeters, and she is wearing extremely battered studded leather armor that she has very clearly gotten secondhand. It's had at least a couple of owners before her. She's carrying a halberd that is a little bit taller than she is, and it is a gorgeous weapon. It looks like it's been designed by an artist. The hilt is wrapped in all of these curls of wire, and the metal at the base and at the top is intricately carved with all these different swirls and designs. But she is holding it a little bit awkwardly as though she's not entirely comfortable with it, and she keeps running her fingers over some marks that are etched into the shaft. Otherwise, she is pretty pale. She has freckles all over her face. She has the very standard kind of angular elven features, and her ears are absolutely decked out in piercings. And most notably, she has short, bubblegum pink hair. She is an entirely conspicuous person.
Corwin, you are looking down into the stairs going into Waterloo Station. And on the side of the wall, there's a small poster saying, "Nothing to lose, ask for Brian," with an arrow pointed down to the stairs into the tunnels.
Corwin is going to look at the sign and kind of readjust her grip on her halberd and square her shoulders a little bit and take a deep breath and head down the stairs.
So, as she heads down the stairs, there is quite the noise coming through the room. You can hear a little bit of music, you can hear the population, and as you go past some of the people, you can see still a diverse crowd filled with just people with daggers to their belts, bows upon their back. You see some people walking around with guns, metallic arms, stuff like that. And in the very middle, there seems to be this counter, and behind the counter is a quite small grey goblin with spiky pink hair all the way over their scalp, who seems to just feet onto the counter, tapping a pen against the desk, while the noise around it seems to be bars, but not public bars. You know exactly that these bars are very much only for the bounty hunter sector, and people outside of this sector do not really come in all the way to experience the life here. You know from experience that people are still not very certain if bounty hunters are the way that we want it to be, that there's a sector that we want to engage with. And this goblin seems to kind of look up at you, roll their eyes, sigh, and sit ready. Hello.
Hi, lovely to meet you. I love your hair. Excellent shade. You'll have to let me know how you achieved that. I saw the poster at the top of the stairs. I'm looking for Brian, I believe it was.
Oh, you are so clearly new here. All right, hold up. The goblin stands up from their chair, walk around, and seem to walk a little bit further on before they just go, "Oi, Brian!" and walk back, sit back at the counter. Legs go back up onto the counter, and they just give it a moment. Just stay here. It'll be fine. So, what's your name again? Sorry.
Corwin. My name is Corwin Duvall.
Corwin Duvall. All right. They start to write something down on a piece of paper. Just hold on. You can go stand here or whatever. I really could not care.
Corwin goes and stands kind of awkwardly against the wall, not in a corner, but also not in the way. She's finding a space that's just slightly out of the way.
as she's been waiting for a while, you can still see some people passing. Some people give you immediate looks. They immediately know that you are not fully equipped yet. They can see that you do not have any of their signature weaponry or the symbols. Give me a perception check, actually.
First roll of the game.
First roll of the game.
First roll of the game. Better be a
We've
one.
got a +0 to perception, my friends.
Good.
That is an 8.
Wonderful.
Amazing.
Begin as you mean
You're
to go
doing
on.
great, sweetie.
That is par for the course. Corwin, she's distracted. She's in a new environment. She really likes this goblin's hair.
Yeah, so what you can see is the people that are staring at you, you do not really know what they are staring at. It could be the fact that you are very much new here. It could be the fact that your hair is incredibly bright and they're used to this goblin wearing all kinds of, or having their hair dyed in all the same colors. They are very much not used to someone with pink bubblegum hair walking around with a big ass halberd who clearly does not seem to fit in yet. And as you wait for a moment, you can at some point feel a tap on the shoulder of this kind of tall, I do not know what it is in feet, I do not have that open, about 175 centimeters tall orc. Looks like could be a monk. And he taps you on the shoulder and is like, Corwin Duvall?
Yes. Are you Brian?
Yes. Come with
Lovely
me.
to meet you.
I'm sure you're new here, I suppose?
Yes, as it happens.
Alright. This is gonna be a fun one. And he just does a little point of like, follow along. And as you guys walk further throughout the space, there is this very small door. And with very small door, I mean in a corner. It's not small as in size, it is just in a corner while everything around it is filled with bars and stuff like that. And Brian knocks on it and is just saying, Sufra, new guy, come on. Open up. Just 2 knocks. No door opens. At some point, Brian grabs the doorknob, twists it, and as he opens the door, there is a knife immediately thrown past right into the wall next to your head. And behind a kind of small desk is a drow with pure silver white long hair in a ponytail, and female. She sits there kind of cross-legged, scraping her daggers. Around the entire room you can kind of see all kinds of missing people's posters, wanted posters. Some are wanted alive, some are wanted dead. And she is just looking at you and is like, great. What? I'm busy? Can't you see? Who are you?
Corwin grabs the knife out of the wall and walks up and hands it politely, or puts it politely on Saphra's desk. My name is Corwin, Corwin Duvall. I'm here to join the bounty hunters.
She looks at you with a bit of a raised eyebrow, and looks over at Brian. Brian seems to just kind of shrug a bit, and then leaves the room.
You ought to be more, careful with where you put the daggers. It's a bit of a hazard. I mean, I imagine your dagger fund is hefty if you keep, losing them in walls.
She's gonna do an insight check on you.
That's probably for the best.
So that is a 14. Can you kind of explain the way Corwin is looking at this kind of annoyed-looking woman?
Yes, absolutely. So, Corwin she's looking at Saphra very curiously. She doesn't seem particularly intimidated. She more seems like so incredibly eager to please and so incredibly desirous of this going well that she is putting her entire heart and soul into making sure this goes as well as possible, which is kind of oozing out of her as this like vague, nervous energy.
So she raises another eyebrow, and is, at some point, just both of her eyebrows now raised, being like, all right, sit down. This is okay. Sit down. She takes a dagger, and then instead of keeping it, putting it in like a drawer, she throws it at the wall again, and it sticks there. So, I assume you sit down.
Yes, Corwin sits down. The halberd is really quite tall, so she holds it and it's kind of listing awkwardly over her. She doesn't really know what to do with it.
She kind of scans the halberd, and you said that there are marks on the halberd, right?
There are, in fact, there are 22 marks along the shaft.
Would Sappho be able to kind of notice that from the start?
I think so. I assume since Sappho is the head of the bounty hunters that she's very observant, so it seems like it would track that she would notice that.
She kind of looks upon it, and then is just like, all right, a bubblegum princess that kills people, I assume.
Quite an assumption to make. I mean, maybe I'm just keeping track of the days. Or
Not had... You're not telling me that you've had this halberd for 22 days.
Well, I'm not telling you that. She kind of shifts uncomfortably and looks down and rubs her finger over the marks. Maybe if it were people that I've killed, would that be a pro or a con in this job interview?
Good question. Let's go, Colin.
Have you ever noticed the actual signs that are displayed along the entire room?
Corwin looks at the signs. What are the signs?
Death,
There
danger.
is a literal sign on descripted in her desk, which has definitely been carved in with a knife. And it says, death is a risk you can avoid.
Slay.
She, once again, frowns like, all right, so you're gonna have to explain to me what you're doing here, because I'm pretty sure you do not know that you are in the bounty hunter sector, right?
Well,
are you sure you're at the right place?
As a matter of fact, I am. Well, I've really quite recently found myself out of a job, and I mean, I've heard the news. I've heard the news on the radio. All of those missing people. I have the skills to be able to help, and I want to help. And they say that you're the best, so here I am.
Well, they are right, Brian. And without a second, the door opens again, and Brian seems to be standing there, the orc. And she's like, yes. Get me... who should I get for the job? Get Josie. Viktor. Get them in here, okay? Got it. Close the door. Seems to be gone. We pan over to... a tiefling. And before I go into that, Annie, can you please describe your character for us, and also where they are in that moment?
So, my character is Josie, an infernal tiefling. She is also about 6 feet tall. She has orange skin that is covered in all kinds of scars and tattoos and things, but they're all quite regular. They all have patterns. No one knows the significance of them, but they are perceptible when you look at her. She has a shock of close-cropped white hair, just long enough to be described as shaggy, and bangs that are held in place by 2 thick horns out of the top of her forehead. Not very large, not very long ones, but she is dressed in sort of like an open leather, like studded leather vest type outfit, and she has one eye, her right eye, that is permanently black all the way around. The entire eye, for the pupil, the colors, the whole eye, all black, no white, no nothing. In the moment, I would say she's probably in a tavern or inn of some kind, just carousing and trying to enjoy some time off while she has it.
Wonderful. Would this probably be... There is in the bounty hunter sector, there is a specific inn called Don't Go In, where there is a... Wonderful naming. There is basically all the rooms that are in a Don't Go In are specifically rented for the bounty hunters, where they can just stay if they want to. The bounty hunter sector is completely made for everyone and everything that you could need there. There's all kinds of shops, there's all kinds of inns, there's all kinds of bars, there is weapon fixery, blah, blah. Would she be found in the bar that is in that inn? Or would she normally kind of go out to other kinds of bars?
Probably in that inn. I would say that you're very rarely going to find Josie anywhere that is not strictly around the bounty hunter territory unless she's out working. We'll keep to the same locations, the same people. Not necessarily the same routines, but not a lot of variety in what she's doing with her free time. So she'll be out in that bar just having a beer and keeping to herself.
So behind that bar, there is this pink tiefling who seems to be kind of fixing the order of all the wine bottles on the shelves. And she is rambling to you about nonsense. She could be rambling about a specific wine that she got in Italy. It could be something that she did the weekend. It all kind of blends in. You know that her name is Teresa. And she at some point just turns to you and is like, okay, so what do you think about that?
Teresa, you know that I could listen to you talk for days and days and days at a time. My feelings about whatever you're saying are your feelings about them. We can keep it that way. You
Great,
talk,
this
listen.
is why you are my favorite customer. And she at some point just leans forward and is like, it's empty here. I wish people stayed here. I'm doing a really, really good job and trying to keep the place nice and clean for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know I love it here. So if I were a more sociable person, I would be bringing others here all the time. But hey, you got me.
Oh, and I'm very, very glad I do. This has been the last few days have been an absolute nightmare. Oh, I'm telling you, and before she can continue, the door opens and you can see your good old friend Brian walk in. I mean, like, Teresa, give me at least one beer, maybe two. Maybe three, who knows? And he sits down next to you and is like, all right, there is a new job for you. A different one that you are probably ready for.
Hi to you too, Brian. What do you got?
So, we got a newbie. Saffra would describe her as Bubblegum Princess.
I'm listening.
She has no idea what she's doing, I can already tell.
Okay.
And Teresa sets her glasses in front of Brian and mumbles, just keep it on the house, okay? Like, this is a treat for me. And Brian just mumbles, yeah, we're all good.
Teresa, that's not how you make any money
eye contact. I try, okay? Like, I need to make sure that people come back.
All right.
That's fine.
Fair enough.
She turns around and starts polishing glasses that she's definitely already polished before.
All right, Brian. How quick do you think this one's gonna burn out compared to the last one?
Do you want to bet on it?
Well, that depends on the line. What's the over-under? Let's hear it.
So, from what I know, Teresa might be assigning this one for another missing people's case. Which I'm sure it's the right start for her, but I'm not sure if she will be able to stay for at least longer than 3 days. I don't know what Sapphire's got planned for her. She will need guidance, like so much guidance.
I'll take the over on 3 days. I might have taken the under on a week, but I can keep anyone around for at least 3 days, I feel like.
Wonderful. Right, can you, once you're done with your drink, I'm tired. Can you get Viktor? I'm sure.
Yeah, right.
they
Always
are,
sending
like-
me on your errands. Sure, why not?
Yes,
And
of course
she
I am. Just
picks up
let
her
me have
glass
a
and
drink.
drains it. Enjoy the rest.
Will do. Just
And I'll head out to go
off.
look for Viktor.
wonderful. Then we pan over to a different bar, a bar that should be closed around that time. However, right now that door is completely open. Not completely open in the sense of it has been opened, normally. No, there most likely has been an axe in there. It is completely quiet except for one gnome sitting at the bar. Viktor, who we will get to in a moment, has gotten a letter at the residence saying, "Need you now, come to the bar. Art." Plain simple. So, Joe, how would you describe your character for us?
So since Viktor Valthayne, by the way, any pronouns, is expecting to be working, they would definitely be in working gear, which means we are currently looking at a about 6 foot tall, female presenting person with curvy hips, tanned skin, a beauty mark under her left eye, and a pinkish lipstick, sporting what I would describe as the blandest bounty hunter clothes you could imagine. Like, take all your fantasy knowledge about fancy armor and throw it in the bin. This lady has a chipped and scratched breastplate over incredibly plain black and grey woolen clothes. They are loose fitting, so her pants are tucked into her very worn out leather boots. It's color coded in corporate suit but dusty, I guess.
Yeah.
What stands out about her is her very long silver grey hair that reaches up to like her midriff, and her lilac eyes with slitted pupils. The rest of her, the vibe is human. She's wearing very little jewelry. I can say the word. She's wearing very little jewelry. There's like a little ear cuff piece behind her. I think it's her left ear, where she also keeps her hair tucked behind, and a bland looking golden what's the word? Is it a bracelet?
Or cuff?
If you have a
You mean
ring
the
on your
cuffs,
arm,
maybe?
it's like a cuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
We as a team have decided it's a cuff.
And teamwork.
Oh, also very
Joint
importantly,
effort.
also very importantly, as she's like, doing the hair flips because she's like, she knows she's looking good. You can see on her left hand, and it's only on her left hand, her fingernails are severely discolored with... It looks a bit like her hand was repeatedly in contact with black ink. Like if you ever had an accident with your fountain pen, you will know. It's like it's all over her fingernails, very slightly reaching to the first, the tips of her, or to the first knuckle on her fingers. And yeah, I feel like she's walking with confidence, let's say.
So she's walking with confidence towards this bar called the Dead Man's Bounty. A familiar place for Viktor.
Oh, yeah.
Where Viktor goes a lot to get a drink with their best friend, Erd. Speaking of that, from the very much knocked open door, you can indeed see this gnome in full armor with a giant axe, way too big for what a gnome should actually be carrying. You can tell by, so far that this guy is a barbarian. What we can see is he has half of his left ear is gone. And he seems to be tapping something on the side of the bar. You can't really determine. Actually, give me a perception check, because we have rolls.
As I do that, I feel like the first thing Viktor actually clocks is how, the technique by which this door was opened. And just quietly to himself goes oh, for fuck's sake, we've been over this. There's ways to stealthily open doors, and this is not the way. I rolled a 1 on my perception check, by the way.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yes.
Incredible. First one of the campaign.
Yeah. Glad to be here.
I love this group. Already. It's gonna
I
go
love how it
great.
happened twice when you guys are trying to get under my skin, but it's cautiously, not stealthily.
Yeah, not stealthily, cautiously, carefully.
Cautiously.
So, dear DM, what do I not perceive?
Anything.
Where's the door?
What you can perceive is that Art seems to be really, really focused. He has something in his hand and he seems very, very focused on this item and has definitely not noticed that you were already there.
I think, I from an outside perspective, there is something crossing Viktor's face that I can only call mischief. They're very briefly thinking about pranking Erd, then thinking better of it because it's I don't know, somewhere early in the morning, I think you said, something like that. Yeah.
So it's mid-afternoon currently.
Or mid-afternoon, which is early by his perspective, I feel like. So he's going to be God, okay, don't want to annoy him now. And I think he's just, standing there being like, Erd?
Yeah, what do you want?
What I want? I mean, you left your little love letter on my door.
Okay. Sit down then. We don't really have time for this.
The door is...
Sit down.
Okay, I'm sitting, chill.
Thank you.
He's sitting down, immediately putting feet on the table.
So, Art seems to be tankering with... seems to be this kind of figurine-looking thing. The NPC's name is Urt, so U-R-D. And he holds his figurine, and before mentioning anything, just grabs Viktor's wrist, puts the figurine in their hand.
Oh, left hand or right hand?
Just
This is important.
right hand.
Okay, good. Then he's not going to flip out on him. It's wait.
Okay.
Use your words. What's that about?
No.
Okay.
So I found this, and I know that you have your knowledge. I found a book, by the way, which I got with me.
I thought you're scared of books.
I am, but I don't know. What is this?
Remember that one time where I told
it
you
was a
that books
big
don't
book.
bite, and then the book was enchanted and it actually bit you? That was really fucking funny. Anyways, what's this? Can I
I will kill you.
You keep saying that, sweetheart, and yet it's not happened yet, has it?
Not yet. So,
all right.
I found this. It scares me. Have it. It scares me. In your hand is a figurine of a black ram. Can you give me a religion check?
A figurine of a what?
A black ram.
Like the animal?
The animal.
Yeah,
the animal,
okay.
Yes.
Okay. By the way, for anyone listening and not knowing D&D, all the checks we're rolling right now is determined by D20 rolls.
Yep.
And then we check our... I do have my character sheet somewhere. Give me a second. Oh my god. Okay. Religion. I rolled a mere 11 and I get on religion a +3. 11 plus 3 is 14.
Yay! Good job.
This feels so anticlimactic because it would have been cooler if the number actually ended up being higher. But yeah, sorry.
Or lower.
Can you also give me an Arcana check?
Oh my god, so many checks. Victor is like, if you ever watch Doctor Who, where like all the random words are floating in front of Benedict Cumberwumble, that's what he does whenever he enters a room. Arcana.
Do you want to say that again?
Doctor Who?
Benedict in Doctor
I'm sorry.
Who?
I'm sorry. I'm
David
sorry. Not
Tennant?
Doctor Who. I
You
misspoke.
mean
I mean
Sherlock.
Sherlock. My Arcana is 19.
Arcana's 19 and your religion is 14. Lovely. I'm looking into the wrong files. It's fine.
Ha! Ha! It's not. It's not
lost.
just me.
It's the Google.
It's the Google. Okay, I'm holding this figurine. I'm actually holding something. It's very squishy, which I
Very
assume.
immersive.
Yeah, thank you. It helps. Props are great. I once had a banana as a prop because Rogue gave my character a gun, and I was threatening an NPC.
It's a very good replacement.
Yeah.
Don't drop the banana.
So, what you can tell from this figurine is black rams, the animal, are associated with the god Hades, which have not really been active for the past, say, 30-ish, 30, 40 years. And with your Arcana check, with the 19, you can kind of see that there is a transmutation magic kind of forming around the figurine. And sometimes you kind of see a light coming from inside as well.
I shake it.
You can hear nothing rattling inside it, no.
Well, where did you get that?
So there was this this very old abandoned magic shop. It seemed to just...
Not again.
Listen, it looks interesting.
We talked about this. If you pick up random items, they might be cursed. And you don't put random items in my hand. I just put it on the table. Like,
listen, I don't know what it is. At this point, by the way, we can see Josie also coming towards the bar. So currently, Josie, what you can see is still the door that is on the floor, broken out of its mind. And this small barbarian gnome with Viktor sitting at the bar.
Oi, Vic, what'd you do to the door?
I look speechless. From Josie to Erd, be like, do I look like the person with the axe? Very funny.
Lighten up and take a joke. Come on. We got some, Zephyr's got fresh blood for us, so, whenever you're wrapped up in here.
Oh, a newbie? Wait, hang on.
Yeah.
The newbie is still alive?
For now, different newbie than the previous one, in case you're wondering.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I look to Ert. Is that everything you have about that?
Not really, but I mean, I still have a random book. I can leave it at your door if you want.
Book. Please. Now.
I thought you were busy.
Never too busy for a book. Book, please, now.
Okay, whatever.
Josie rolls her eyes.
So, from this bag that he has hung over his shoulders, he pulls it out, and he pulls out this very nonsense book about how to kind of make gold jewelry. And he just hands it, and is like, I don't know. Maybe you're interested.
Trying to
you
pick
like
up a hobby.
everything.
I do like everything. I grab the figurine and the book. I also just realized I forgot to describe some things, but they may come up. I'm for now going to rule that Viktor is just having, like, a coat that is obscuring a lot of things he's also wearing. I just slip it under my coat. Go somewhere, you don't know where.
Erd throws up his hands and it's just like, all right, head out. I'll stay here then.
Before you head out, I'm not going to explain what happens to the door again. You're gonna stand up for your mistakes.
Roderick doesn't really have to find out. Okay.
He will, and you know that, and I'm not going to let him threaten again to take my finger for it. So, you've got this. You've got Josie. Let's
just fine. I got this.
I already am halfway out
of grips the axe.
Like, Josie, let's go, please.
All right, Erd. See you next time.
From the figurine in your hand, you can feel it kind of like actively start to vibrate slightly, and the light that was shining into it kind of seems to pulse a bit more.
Hey, Josie, do you know anything about small vibrating objects?
Josie kind of makes the noise that I just made. Afraid you're gonna have to be a little bit more specific on that one, Viktor.
I hold up the figurine. This is vibrating. I know, I shouldn't touch things or found somewhere, but here we are.
Usually safe policy, yeah, but let me see. What do I...
You should
anything
touch it
else I can glean about it other than... I'm not going to touch it yet, but...
Can you also give me a religion check and a arcana check?
Sure, alright. Into the dice tower. Religion, I got 12. And then Arcana... 8. So, probably not.
Okay. So, yeah, no, you can't really determine what kind of magic is around it. However, you can definitely determine that this has something to do associated with Hades.
Sure. I'll probably just be like, yeah, okay, Black Ram, old Hades stuff. Probably worth something considering how rare those are now, but don't know what's up with it.
Maybe it's a little trinket. I just, kind of dangle it in front of me. I assume we're walking wherever we're walking to.
Yeah, walking to Cyprus.
Viktor just walked out of the pub being like, nah, you know what, or I'm not going to fucking explain that to the bar owner again. You got this. It's dangling it in front of her, being like...
Clip it to your belt, maybe? It's a nice decoration.
Oh,
kind of tells people not to fuck with you if you got some Hades merch.
My belt, it's... I don't... If that interferes with the other stuff...
You know what I mean.
And, she kind of pulls back her cloak so that I can finally describe the rest of the shit and never have to do that again. I might mix up the sides. On her left side is strapped to her belt is a rapier that is made from a metal that is essentially swallowing light. Describing it as black metal wouldn't quite cut it, because it is like I forgot the name of the color that is like so black that it actually absorbs light.
Vanta Black.
Vanta Black. Like that. Very cool, very, very, not shiny, but you know what I mean. On the other side, clipped to the belt is, which is also just a very boring leather belt. I'm not going to bother describing that one. Is a contraption that is holding a book. It's about A4 size or a little smaller. That seems to be made out of a... Well, it's once might have even had color other than dusty black. But it looks like super old, very faded. There is no no text on the book cover, nothing. Even the pages look black. It does not absorb the light quite as much as the metal, but it's getting there. Yeah, like very much pointing out as of like, I have magic items. I don't want another magic item touching my other magic items.
Well, I don't know what you want me to do with it. You're the one who grabbed it from Erd. I'm not messing with it.
Okay, I'm already regretting my choices.
So as you guys are walking towards Saphra's office, Brian is already there again with two of the beers, and
With
he
the Stanley
is
cup full of
holding
beer.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Just
He's
double
got
fisting.
two. He's got them both, holding it in one hand, and he nods to both Josie and Victor. Is like, good, ready, because this is going to be also Victor. Be prepared. This might be an interesting one.
You said that about the last one and the one before. The most interesting part was that... Okay, I mean, the last one was... The interesting part was finding all the bits. But...
Brian, without any kind of smile or change of look on his face, just nods, opens the door. And what you can see from immediately is Saphra, the most confused she has ever looked in her life.
Victor is going to fucking grin at that shit. It's like, oh, okay. That type of
And
interesting.
From the back, I don't know if Corwin would immediately look over with the door opening.
She would probably finish whatever sentence she was in the middle of, so she might have been... Well, healing. I mean, healing potions are so expensive these days, and I can heal, so, definitely a plus. Use out on your expense reports. And then she would turn and look over her shoulder and see who would come in.
Huh.
Oh, hi. Is this part of the interview? Are you part of the bounty hunters? I'm joining up. First day.
Oh. I like nudge Josie a little bit with my elbow. Tell me you bet on her.
I took the over. I didn't know.
God damn it. Every fucking... Yeah. Bounty hunter through and through.
I'm going to see if Saphra would immediately notice that there is a glowing black figurine in someone's hand.
I thought you were about to roll whether just one of Saphra's veins pops. It's like...
I mean,
The
okay, so
relaxation
if we
vein.
do that one first,
It went from I can heal for free to you will need it for free.
it does not pop yet.
Okay.
However,
Saphra
She's
hires
sturdy.
Corwin solely to get her out of her office faster.
Mm-hmm.
she does not notice she's incredibly confused, which is new for our boss. And she kind of rubs her forehead and looks up to Josie and Victor and is like, "This is your new job? Sit down, stand up, do whatever you want. Come here. Close the door. Brian, get in here."
Oh, now I know what you mean about interesting to Brian.
Josie's going to be leaning up against the wall near the door and reach out to Brian for one of the cups that he has.
Brian hands it over immediately. Does not even look up. Brian is not very good at eye contact, by making that very clear.
Brian is on the spectrum.
I would say autistic thing.
I'm sorry. Sorry, everyone.
Yes. Brian is my OC, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
It makes sense.
For everyone not knowing, I'm making that joke because, like there's so much neurodivergence in this chat right now. So, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, Viktor is going to sit, but like canonically, whenever she is sitting anywhere, boots go up on the table. So she be sitting there at Saphra's desk, and I feel like that's not the very first time this has happened. Like boots up the table, the widest fucking grin on her face, holding that slightly glowing, slightly vibrating object, and just looks from Saphra to Corwin and back.
So, Saphra suppresses the urge to stab Viktor, first of all.
Viktor notices.
And she just mumbles, all right, Corwin, your supervisors. Viktor? She points with her hand to Viktor, and she points at Josie. And Josie.
Lovely to meet you both. Nice.
Supervisor's a new one, Saphra.
Listen, I need you guys to get her out. With all due respect, obviously, but...
Take her out of the back.
Your face! Go into the woods, take the shotgun.
Corwin, annoying her way into jobs since 19-something.
I mean...
not killing her. Not immediately.
Thanks for that.
Not immediately.
She's...
Yeah, no worries.
Did she throw a dagger at you? She does that a lot, you know.
She did, but she missed, so you know.
She does that a lot
Much of
as
a muchness,
well.
really.
So... Any nice team bonding exercises there, boss? Or...
What's the contract,
The-
Saphra?
Figurine in your hand starts actively pulsing through while the light is like actually coming through the gaps of your fingers. And Saphra frowns, is like, what did you bring into my office?
Well, it's not a dead mouse this time. I gingerly put it on the table. On her table.
Is there something inside of that?
Well, it wasn't rattling. I was shaking it pretty hard. It has something
Brian?
to...
Brian immediately walks over. He stands, does his hand in a fist, slams the figurine onto the desk like broken. Out of the figurine seems to come up this almost flame-looking blue pulsing light. And that seems to have kind of slight black parts through it, like black flames, slightly, just a little bit flowing through it, until Saphra grabs one of her daggers at a shadow forming in the very, very middle of that. A humanoid shadow sitting on the desk. And can Mirah please describe what her character looks like?
I would take some liberties at the huzzah that just happened, if that's okay. So you starting to see a bit more of like a concrete shape of a average size humanoid figure, who, whilst it's still slightly obscured, it kind of like slams on the table, probably knocking over some stuff that was on there. And as the shadow disperses itself, you see like a head hanging down, not facing you at all, with like a soft ash brown, medium length hair. The body that you now starting to see a bit better. The top part is draped in like a off-white linen shirt, quite simple, fine but simple made. close-fit black trousers, a woven belt, no weapons that you can see, no adornments, no jewelry that you can spot straight away. Interestingly, no footwear or cloak or gloves. And as that figure slumps, I would say she'll be facing Saphra.
Oh, she is facing Saphra with a knife through her throat.
Right. I'm just trying to imagine the positioning now.
We all do.
Sat on the
sorry.
desk is with her knees to her chest is sat Una, and Saphra has her knife immediately like around, ready to stab the moment she has to. Brian in the room is already standing ready, fists out, battle ready.
Okay. Who would be in front of my character? Saphra. Yeah. You would see, because you still can't see her face, because she's like slumping down, as she kind of like comes to it, it's a very quick flick up of the face, and you do see a dagger appearing in the hand, just going straight for the stomach.
Ooh, straight for the stomach. If
Straight
you want
for
to
the stomach.
immediately like make an attack on that.
Yeah, I would do that. I would do
it.
that. Just.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Are you killing my
No.
my love?
No.
My lovely? My
So that
lovely
would have
OC?
been, so that I rolled for the attack, and that would be with this, so that would be an 18 to hit.
That hits because you are very much in Saphra's safe space. So yes,
Yes.
that hits.
So it's very much what you hear is just someone there was no sound coming from the person. It was just sudden and then just like stab, just absolute chaos. And she doesn't move. As soon as she realizes it makes contact, she just stays there and then looks up, and you see that she has like, I would say, striking amber eyes. Her facial features are rather, well, they are quite, like, they are fine features, but she doesn't have like very delicate looking face. Rather pale, almost ashen colored right now. And completely stricken with like sweat or some kind of moisture, like the hair is clinging to her face, like she looks ragged, like her facial expression is showing you that she's not well right now. Panic in her eyes, just trying to just understand what just happened.
As you stab the woman that was never supposed to be stabbed, very, very honest, it's amazing. She gasps for a moment, like, grabs your wrist, looks up, and is just like, "Oh, I like you." And she pulls the dagger away from her stomach again, and is like, "All right, Brian." Brian comes over and lays a hand on her stomach, and you can see that the healing magic immediately kind of fixes up that wound. Yes,
There would be no wound.
there would be no wound.
There would be no wound. As soon as the dagger appeared and it made contact, she moved the hand out. I would look at my hand and just let it disappear, but there would be cut in the fabric. There would be no wound.
Ooh, okay, then retract that. Brian is about to do healing magic and just looks up and is like, "Nothing." And her grin spreads over her face and immediately like, "Huh. So, supervisor number 3. I see."
Hey, this is how you become supervisor? I would have stabbed you 10 months ago.
Oh, shut up, Victor. You don't know how to stab.
You never saw me stab.
So,
He winks. He winks like a guy who's like, I need to have the last word in this conversation.
Oh my god.
She actively rolls her eyes, takes the dagger away from her throat, by the way, and leans back. It's just like, so, who are you? And what are you doing in a... what were you doing in a figurine?
No, that's my question. Who are you? Where am I?
As you look around,
Just
you can
stumbles off
see... Yeah, stumbles off the table.
Yeah, just like
Face down.
At this point, you cannot... you cannot recognize the people around you. You do not recognize the sentence on the desk. You do not recognize anything of the room that you are in, nor the location. And yeah, you can see currently you're surrounded by 5 people staring at you.
5 people, one of them bubblegum pink hair.
One of them bubblegum pink. With weapons at least at their exposure. So.
Oh, Viktor did not draw any weapon. Viktor is still in the position of feet up the table. He was like, no, I'm going to watch how that plays out, because he knows he can draw fast if he needs to.
Okay, so hold up. You can't see any weapons on Viktor at all.
I mean,
currently.
now he can. It was more me being like, I need to retcon why, like, when he sits, his, like, little cloak will fall back enough to, there's a rapier.
Josie would have grabbed the Morning Star, but not drawn. Just kind of hand on it, saw that everything stopped after a sec, hand off it.
Is Una on the ground? Or is Una standing?
So she would have like slipped off the table to start making distance away from the person she just stabbed. And just kind of like stumbled back. Like you could tell that she's quite weak on her legs, but she's not immediately like just making a run for it. She's just, whenever someone speaks, her eyes just like literally just scanning the situation, still waiting for the reply, but just observing.
Corwin would have immediately leaned her halberd up against the desk and kind of raised her hands in an "I'm not going to hurt you" kind of fashion.
Oh, Jesus.
And she's not going to look kind of...
I'm sorry. That was Joe and Viktor being like, a pacifist, not again.
How do we keep getting just pacifists?
That's why they don't last so long.
The last one we found in bits. It took days to find the left arm.
I think "oh for fuck's sake" needs to be in the edit though.
yeah, it's going to be in there. I'm sorry. Like that was Viktor's reaction.
Incredible, yes. Corwin's gonna kind of like half roll her eyes at you, Vic, and then just say, "Are you okay? Are you all right? Do you need anything?" To Una.
Well, I guess that depends on her. And she points to Safra. Clearly you are running the operation down here, and I might have just made the biggest mistake of my life, so...
What is your life? Let me ask that first.
Right.
I assume it's not getting stuck into figurines.
I still have not a slightest clue. What are you talking about? I don't remember getting here.
The figurine?
What figurine?
I'm sorry, she has horrible bedside manners. I'm Viktor, and I'm, like, going to extend my right arm. Like, finally standing up, not being, like, in the tough, smug... Oh, he's a girl. But you know what I mean. Like, finally standing up to you, being like, extending his right hand to be like, I'm Viktor. Who are you?
I think... Una? I think I'm Una, and just like, it like gives the hand, but like not like handshake, but kind of like gives the hand like that.
He's not going to kiss it. He's like slowly twisting it into a handshake.
I'm gonna have to retcon that part. You're gonna have to explain how you're giving the
Oh, yeah.
hand. Because we can see it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not
yeah,
everyone
yeah,
can.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Oh, sorry, yeah. So Victor is
No
like
worries.
extending a hand to shake. Una would have extended the hand kind of, how would you describe? Like from the top.
Palm down.
So like daintily, like very delicately kind of reaching out and maybe touch like the top fingers. But like not doing like a handshake, but like touching the fingers and then like awkwardly shaking it because she doesn't understand. Like just...
Oh, okay. So you were in a figurine. It's gone, right? It's like broken apart or whatever?
The shards of the figurine, as you look at it, they should still be there, but very, very slowly they seem to kind of crumble into that bluish light. And as you are now also looking at Una, you can still see the faint shimmers of that blue light kind of in her eyes still.
Okay, so you were inside that figurine, points to the shards that are slowly dissolving, obviously through some kind of weird magical nonsense you don't remember? Question mark?
I know as much as you do, and I think you know more than me.
Oh shit. Supervisor, huh? Looking at fucking Safra.
Supervisor. Yes.
Oh, I hated that. Supervisor.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're so crazy.
Oh, but don't get me wrong. Not supervisor for whatever you are. Supervisor
Victor.
to this bubblegum princess.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I would have been the one stabbing you if you gave me a supervisor who do not nothing. Do not...
Victor, shut up.
No.
Not the time.
I am sorry about that. I made sure that there wasn't any further effect on you. I hope that's all right.
I mean, you were vibrating a whole bunch. And glowing.
I mean, I know I'm trembling, but is it that apparent? Like, proper, like, you know.
Yeah,
So-
but I guess that's normal if you don't remember. Do you not remember anything about yourself then?
No.
Fascinating. Well,
So, Victor, Bubblegum Princess,
That is my official
and
title.
the rest...
yes.
My friends do call me Corwin, but, you know, to each his own.
Oh, apologies. And everyone else? That's not trying to kill me?
Josie.
Josie?
Brian kind of stands more near a corner, just gives a nod, does not give a name, does not give any voice.
That's Brian. He doesn't talk much. You get used to it.
Oh, that's fine.
And the lovely woman that you stabbed
And-
is sometimes known as Safra.
Hi. And she does a kind of like little wave.
There's also another name we use, but I will tell you later.
I
Oh.
tend to stick with boss lady. Toes the line between annoying her just enough and
Yeah.
not going all the way.
I also have a word with B.
So if you're a boss, it means you're running an organization. So what kind
Yes.
of situations did I find myself in?
We are the bounty hunter sector, called the Wanted Dead. Heard of us? I'm pretty sure you should have. Give me the history check.
I need to zoom in on my character sheet.
I was trying to figure out whether I have prestidigitation to just spark some fireworks as she's like doing the whole
Well-
spiel, but I
Pew, pew,
don't.
It's at 12.
Okay. So, bounty hunters, an illegal kind of cult, as what a lot of people call it, from what you know. And they've only just been legalized in Greece, where there is a its own sector just made, and people are slowly trying to get bounty hunting to be an actual job, but there seem to be some governmental issues still going on. That is what you know.
That's what I know. Yes.
You do not recognize the bounty hunter sector named the Wanted Dead. You do not know any of the names in general from the bounty hunter sector that you know in Greece, in Athens.
Okay. I don't think I had a pleasure before today with your fine establishment.
Then you can get immediately started on a job.
Okay.
You seem capable, right? You stab people good. That's something I did not notice, or did not forget to notice.
Right.
Do you know how to fight in general, not just sneak attacks?
I guess. And then she just looks down in her hands, which she herself is noticing that they are quite clearly worn and calloused. And she puts two and two together and go I believe I might have some experience with weapons, but as you can see, I am clearly missing equipment, so you're very trusting of a new asset. Did anyone ever told you that?
I am so trusting. That's what they all tell me. Right, Brian? Brian actually rolls his eyes.
Yes!
Josie,
but nods.
at this just finishes everything left in the cup. Sighs.
Brian will give you the other one that he was holding,
Amazing.
which there was still something in it. It's like,
Oh my god.
if you want more, you can have.
Brian and
Love
Josie's
that.
are just drinking buddies. I love this. I love this for them.
Yep.
So, I kind of had a job in mind for our Bubblegum princess there, and since we now have 3 trained killers, or at least
2.5.
People
Let's not
that-
be 2.
2.5.
2.5.
Just to be incredibly clear, the Bubblegum Princess
honestly-
is also a trained killer. She picks up her halberd and tries to look intimidating.
Okay.
Sure
trained, I wouldn't say. However, I have a job for you. As just, a start. An intro to our work. However, it's quite important. Which is why this actually works out really, really well. Can you guys sit down, stand up, whatever do you want to sit, stand, Una?
I think I would probably benefit from sitting down for a minute to get my bearings.
Victor's going to offer his,
All right,
his
cool.
chair.
Just
Oh, thank you.
No problem.
so, as you guys might have noticed along the streets, the noise about the disappearances have been going quite high. We are currently looking for someone some of you might know. And she slides across the table a newspaper, which is the newspaper we saw in the intro saying Crown Smith among disappearances causes uproar in the city. The Crown Smith is for Viktor and Josie known as Johnny DeRollo, a halfling man who has been making the crown, but not just the crown, also is famous for making weaponry, for making some of the metallic arms in your own bounty hunter sector, and is one of the closest almost assistants to the weaponsmith that you know as Nyx. NYX. And she slides the paper across and just says, Johnny's gone.
Damn. Wait. When?
We don't know. What I've heard from our lovely friend Miguel, she says with a big, big sigh, his sister and our lovely president Tobias really does not want... He doesn't want us to exist So instead of using our professional trained people, he has been looking for untrained professionals, basically, around the entirety of our globe. And Miguel has told us that by now they might have a team ready to investigate Johnny's disappearance, and I would really like to have Johnny back in our hands and not in theirs.
Understood.
Last thing we need is a guy like Johnny being killed by his rescuers. I agree.
Wonderful. I need you guys to go to Oxford, to his shop, to double check if he's probably not there, but like to check if there's anything that we know, that we notice, that we can take with us for more knowledge. I mean, Viktor, I know you're kind of good on the knowledge part.
What an understatement. But
I'm
yes,
sure that we'll be fine. And Corwin, if you do this well and your comrades tell me that you're doing a good job, you'll be in.
Fair's fair.
Good.
What do you mean we are going to Oxford? We are not in Oxford right now?
We are not. Do you think we're in Oxford?
Well, otherwise I wouldn't ask my question. Boss. Lady. Sir.
There's a lot you still need to learn. All right. And with that, we are ending it for episode 1 of Remains to be Seen. Thank you so much for listening. And what happens next in our group, what happens in the future in the other group, we'll find out in the next one. You know, it all remains to be seen all the time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Remains to be Seen is an original podcast created by Dyaflame Studios and licensed under the Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Sharealike 4.0 International License. Today's episode was produced by Rick den Breejen and edited by Rover, Elliott and Joe Mendacium. It starred Elizabeth Simpson as Corwin Duvall, Joe Mendacium as Viktor Valthayne, Annie Ruby as Josie, Mirah Fae as Una, and Rover Elliott as the Dungeon Master. The intro and outro were composed by We Talk of Dreams, and a transcript was written by Elizabeth Simpson. To get in touch with us and keep up to date with our antics, follow us on Instagram, Bluesky, and TikTok at Dyaflame Studios, or view our website at dyaflame.com. Check our show notes for additional credits, links, and transcripts.